Hello again, Steve here from Coffee Chat with a little introduction to a conversation that I have invited some people to come out to have on dealing with forms of anxiety. And you might wonder why I would want to talk about anxiety. After all, Coffee Chat is about improving the quality of our life experiences. Well, if you are like me and have suffered from anxiety, it can definitely affect the quality of life experiences. In fact, it can shut life experience down to a very low degree at times. Just a little story, I've told it before, that one of the reasons I got involved with dealing with this issue was about 7 years ago, maybe 6, 7 years ago. I wanted to give a presentation to some people, and I thought it was only going to be 4 people or whatever, which typically wouldn't be an issue. But they all brought friends, and there ended up being about a dozen people there, and I was supposed to give a presentation, and I got triggered on something, just the number of people there, and just shut down completely. And what's interesting actually is I looked up, as an aside here by the way, I looked up, because I love etymology of words, I looked up the etymology of anxiety, which is of course the anxious is the root there, and it literally comes from the, is it Old Latin or something like that? It literally means to choke. And that's what it felt like, man. That's what it felt like with me. Literally, it was like the wind couldn't come up. I physiologically could not speak. And even when I found my notes and tried to get composed, it was still just completely a terrible situation. So it was a complete write-off. I mean, it was a disaster, right? But when I think about it now, I realize that there's nothing wrong with any of that. I mean, if you think about it, what's happening in our bodies is happening for a reason, right? There are mechanisms within our body which are there to serve us. And in the same way, fat cells are there to serve us. But if they're used in a certain way, they become overbloated or whatever. Well, it's the same with, I think, with many other aspects of our bodies. If we are trained in a certain way, then things can be overdone. And reactions can happen when there's no empirical reason for them to happen. I mean, I would think that these triggers that go on are there for imminent danger situations in our past, primarily, right? To be able to shut off parts of our body which are not absolutely important. I'm sure that speaking in a moment of severe danger may not be the most important thing. Probably running is more important, and I sure as hell felt like running that night, to the hell out of that place. So there's a good reason for them. However, though, if we want to interact socially, for business, for dating, for even social interactions, and we feel that we're just impaired rather, impaled. It feels like we're impaled times too, but we're impaired by our triggered tendencies. Then surely there's something we can do about it. And what I have found that works for me very well is to be able to exercise or to operate on a soft level at first, at least in a lightweight level at first, within those trigger zones. And what I found is that the tendency to become fearful and then the resulting anxiety is not unlike becoming physically weak at something. And the solution for that is exercise and some sort of training and conscious practice at becoming better. And it's almost like a muscle that gets stronger. It's not that the anxiety ever goes away completely. It's not like if we work out we become like Hercules. We're still going to reach that limit where we can work for more. But we can do a lot. And the other thing I noticed too is that it's a bit like muscle exercise in a way too, that there is muscle memory, yes, but there can be loss of that strength. And what I've found is that if I don't continue to practice within those trigger points, that I can start to become anxious again. But I want to share some of this anyway, and it's basically about becoming actively involved in doing the things where the impairment shows up, right? because like anything else, like so many other things in life rather, if we're not very good at something, if we practice within that, like if I'm not very good at guitar, I can dream about being good at guitar, I can read about being good at guitar, I can watch other people being good at guitar, but unless I actually do something about being good at guitar, I'm probably not going to be very good at guitar. So I actually have to take action. And this is what I'm inviting people to do. I'm inviting people to not only talk about these things, but to become active. And I'm willing to help people as much as I can through discussion and other activities, especially other activities, which I and many others have found to be helpful. So if you're in this area, if you're near Saskatoon or whatever, and you want to come by our conversation on anxiety or other related topics coming up in the near future through Coffee Chat, feel free to do so. You can search Coffee Chat Saskatoon. You'll find a meetup there. You'll find our upcoming events. You can also message me on this YouTube video. You could also, well, those are the main ways to get a hold of me. It's pretty simple. Steve, again, great chatting, and I hope you have a fantastic, I was going to say fearless evening, but we all have our elements of fear, right? But a confident evening, shall we say. Nice talking. Talking soon. Bye for now.